I know he does these things. It's worth it, of course, when one knows him. But I am sorry for you. If only I'd been here, he'd be down at the rookery. I expect I was to meet him there, but first, can't I help? Can't I do anything? Fetch and carry I do. Wish you would use me. I am really a most useful person, Miss Darkness. Oh, forgive me, I should say, Miss Swate. But I always think of you as Miss Darkness. I can't always afford your first nights, but I never miss your dress rehearsals. One of the firemen is a friend of mine, whatever the theatre. Now, won't you let me... Angela, with an hour and a quarter between her and disaster, let him. They went at once into conference. A hot dinner was not impossible, since all was prepared, and Illico vouched for himself as a cook. It was Angela's idea to have it on the servants' terrace, so called because the back and one side were walled with box to cut off the view of the kitchen and the kitchen's view. But it was Illico's But it was Illico's idea to cover the table with a Union Jack to evoke Chinese lanterns and fairy lights, leaving Angela to gather helpers, and hugging the permission to go where he liked and do what he liked. He headed unerringly for the attics, whence he returned with the spoils of many Christmas trees, the flags of alleged victories, wire, pliers, and a complete knowledge of the electric light system of the house. If he also, in the pursuit of a run of the electric light, visited many bedrooms, none knew and none ever blamed, for Illico was discreet. He picked 7 and 6pence, no more, from the little heap of money, keys, and notes on one dressing-table, stamps and 3 and 4pence from another. On the other hand, he looted 3-pound notes and the loose diamond out of a ring in the curdled pink mess which was his hostess's looking-glass drawer, because it was clear that she had no idea and never would have any idea of what it contained on any given day. There was chocolate and a surprising letter signed Teddy on the drawing table in This's attic studio. These he pocketed, nor did he overlook Persephone's spare fountain pen. Then he filled his cigarette case, slipped on a pair of dark socks over the loudish ones which he already wore, brushed his teeth in Swaite's bedroom, and was back on the job, wiring the terrace before Angela and Trelawney had decided whether it should be trestles or the big round table from the breakfast room. Illico decided for the big round table. Illico dismembered it and got it out. Illico sent Angela off to the glass houses for Similacs, and, discovering that Percy was no mean electrician, turned over the wiring to her and took on the cooking. Finally, it was Illico who suddenly reappeared in the midst of the toiling mob with fresh cocktails of unexampled potency, and gave them good news. On his own responsibility, he had telephoned to the castle and ascertained that Lord Bothering had not yet gone up to dress. "So all's well," said Illico. "Everything's in the ovens. The table looks superb, Miss Darkness. Not a thing left to do. And it's only 6:45. No one will be here till 8:15. Gives you time for a rest," said Illico, filling his eyes with respectful admiration as he surveyed the dishevelled Angela. "Or even a bath," said Illico, with a glance of genuine longing at the swimming pool. "Let's all bathe again," suggested Percy, gazing fondly at her floodlights. Illico's laugh was half a sigh. "Ha ha! I have to retrieve my boss," he said softly. "I have to find him and make him realize the time and the horror of what he's done, and find out why he did it, and explain to him that he's got to apologize, and tell him what to say and make him say it. On the way back, I shall have to prevent him stopping to fight a hollyhock because it looked at him the way he didn't like, or rearranging the potting sheds on some principle of abstract justice irrespective of the size of the pots or what's growing in them. Then he will be brilliant all the way to the House concerning the reorganization of Europe on the same principles, and I shall get fascinated, I always do, and almost forget to deal with the problem of his clothes. You see," he turned to Angela, "I've got to get him dressed and ready for dinner, and we've got nothing with us. I didn't prepare. I assumed it was a half-hour call. He's a mysterious person, never delegates," said Illico, sighing meekly. The rest of us have to stand and wait. However, we also serve, and I really think I'd better, before it gets too late, just blunder off after him After him into the blue. That's the easiest way to find Ben. Who is this Ben? Demanded This restlessly. Illico laughed. Then he looked at her carefully, blotting at the first amused expression. What, you don't know Ben? From his face. Why, Ben, he said dreamily. Have you been with him long? Ever since I was invalided out? What do you know about him? Said the baffled This, turning from her sister-in-law. Only that he's mad, said Angela, and she smiled back at Illico. This was quicker as well as bigger than her sister, with bright eyes, fairer hair, and a deliciously shaped upper lip. She pouted, but she changed her tone. Are you mad too? She addressed Illico once more. I hope I'll catch the infection. Shall I come and help you find him? I wish you would, said Illico. She romped her arm into his, and, with a satisfied look at her sister's grease-bared hands, hurried him away down the lawn. Illico's backward glance at Angela, as if Europa borne off, was a masterpiece. Not in vain had he treasured the word bollocky. And that is the end of chapter 13.